Welcome back to Conference USA Kickoff, presented by Ryan. Louisiana Tech in the preseason poll picked third. They're led by head coach Skip Holtz, just one win away from his 150th career win. And Coach Holtz joins us now. Coach, good to see you again.
Great to see you as well, Ron. Great to be with you today.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but we're talking a lot of coaches about how they got through last season. Was there any positives that came out of what you had to go through in 2020?
Well, that we had the opportunity to play was certainly a positive. We can sit and talk about all the hurdles we had to climb and walls we had to burst through to try and make last year work. But the bottom line, somebody asked me the question, would we have been better without playing? Absolutely not. So I think the positives that came out of it were having the opportunity to be together as a team and have the opportunity to go play the game, even with all the obstacles and hurdles we had to jump through. I still think it was a positive thing for the mental health of our football players, the young men that play this game. But also, I think it was a big piece in the culture right now to have the opportunity to play and get everything back to somewhat of normal.
Well, let's talk about this season because you were very busy in the offseason. I look at your roster, and I think it's a fair case to make that you probably have one of the most talented rosters in Conference USA because you've added a lot of different players.
We have added a lot of new faces on this football team. When I looked at it just in the roster management with the way the NCAA rules fell, where we were able to, everybody was able to get another year. I didn't want to sign more than about 10 freshmen. And so we added some upperclassmen. We've done some things to strengthen our team. I really like what we did in the secondary, bringing 3 SEC starters in the secondary. We've got a new face on the defensive line. We've got a new quarterback, new face at quarterback, 2 new running backs, 2 new wide receivers, and a number of offensive linemen. So I think what we tried to do is take the roster that we had and we tried to bolster it a little bit. And I certainly think that our staff did a really nice job, and I was excited with the additions we made this offseason.
Well, let's talk about the offense because it was not the explosive offense last season that we've come to love with Louisiana Tech. Do you have to find stability at the quarterback spot?
Well, we do. I mean, because last year, what made last year even harder, outside of just everything we dealt with COVID, was we ended up with two quarterbacks, and nobody really likes that system. But without having spring practice and a very limited fall camp, it was just very hard to sit down and make a decision on which one was going to be our guy. So it made it very difficult, and that's certainly something that we need to come out of fall camp with. We're certainly hopeful that Luke Anthony will be back from his injury, the transfer, Austin Kendall, along with the 2 young guys in Aaron Allen and J.D. Head. With those 4 quarterbacks, we're going to have to try and make a decision early. We're going to have to come out of fall camp with 1. But I certainly think that'll go a long way in helping us be more productive as an offensive football team.
Well, let's talk about the running game because you added Marcus Williams from Appalachian State. He is a powerful runner, over 2,000 yards last season. That's going to really bolster the ground attack.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think a couple things that we really tried to do when you looked at what the biggest problem we had offensively, we couldn't run the ball. And I think the new offensive line coach, David DeGuglielmo, will do a great job with us up there. We added a couple new faces, but certainly sprinkling with the 2 senior running backs gone, and Tucker and Henderson, with both of those 2 gone, there's going to be some new faces. And I think Marcus Williams is a huge addition. I think when I look at Keon Henry Brooks, who transferred from Vanderbilt, is going to be a huge addition. There's 2 guys with an awful lot of college playing experience. But we also have some young guys. When I look at Harlan Dixon and Greg Garner, I look at some guys that are very talented, and you mix in the experience of the transfers, and I really liked what the running back room looks like. But I think, as I've already talked about with the quarterbacks and with the running backs, this fall camp is going to be huge for us, and there's going to be an awful lot of competition through all 30 days of fall camp, getting ready for that first game.
All right, let's go to the other side of the football because when I look at the players you have coming back, a number of starters coming back, there really is Power 5 talent at just about every position on defense. This is going to be a much improved defense this year.
I certainly hope so. When I look at this right now, I think I look at the upperclassmen that we have along with the talent, and I think top to bottom, when you look at number 1 through 4, all the way through your depth chart, I think this is the most talented defense we've had. And it starts up front with you talked about Willie Baker, a guy like Willie Baker coming back who missed a year ago. When I look at Deshaun Hall and Kiwi Rose and the impact they made up front, but also look at, I think our linebackers may be as strong as I've ever had. Tyler Grubbs was a freshman All-American a year ago. Trey Baldwin is a senior. Cody Fulp, Mackie Kirban, Alan Walker. I think we've got a lot of guys that we're going to have an opportunity to play at linebacker, but not only in the back end. When you look at returning is Cedric Woods, who was a freshman all-conference player a year ago, but B.J. Williamson, who made a huge impact for us. And then, as you talked about, the 3 SEC transfer guys in the secondary, I think we've got a chance to really be strong on defense, and I'm excited to watch it evolve. I'm excited to watch it come together, and I'm really excited to see how these guys are going to respond on game day.
Well, let's talk about game day, because as we take a look at your schedule, 2 of your first 3 games, they are not easy games. Mississippi State and an SMU team that could be very good this season. You don't have a whole lot of time to get ready, because Mississippi State's going to be a big challenge, especially on your defense.
Yeah, Mississippi State, with what they're doing offensively with Coach Leach and the respect we have for him. But it's certainly, we're going to have to be playing at a high level early, because you talked about Mississippi State, and you talked about SMU, 2 very, very talented offenses that are explosive and can put up a lot of yards and a lot of points, but also having to play NC State out of conference. I mean, we've got a very difficult schedule. It's going to be a great challenge for our football team, but one that we're really looking forward to.
Coach, always a pleasure. We appreciate the effort you made today to do this with us, and we wish you the best of luck. Look forward to seeing you during the season.
Ron, you know what respect I have for you, and we've done this and been around each other for a long time. I'm just glad that we can come together today and make this happen. Thanks for your time.
But we weren't in person, so that's the part I missed. But, Coach, best of luck. We'll see you during the season.
I appreciate it, Ron. You have a great day. Bye now.
They have a lot of talent coming back, and they've added a lot of talent from transfers. One of the players coming back, starting wide receiver Isaiah Graham, the senior out of Bastrop, Louisiana. Isaiah, good to see you, my friend.
Good. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great. Now, you and I were just talking before we started doing this and about being picked in the preseason poll, number 3 in the West. You kind of snickered at that. Do you like being picked 3?
Oh, yeah, man, we're going to use that as motivation, It doesn't matter what we pick, At the end of the day, we got to come out and play our game and do what we supposed to do and just come out and play ball. So being picked 3rd, it's preseason for a reason, At the end of the day, when the ball drops, that's when it counts.
I want to take you back a couple of years, because you started your career at TCU, then you transferred to Louisiana Tech, and during your redshirt season, former defensive coordinator Blake Baker and strength and conditioning coach Kurt Hester, they spent a lot of time pushing you. What did those 2 mean to you during your redshirt season at Louisiana Tech?
Oh, man, it means a lot. That was probably one of the down moments in my life, having to sit out and being around the guys each and every day, not being able to travel, and just being down there on scout team with Blake Baker, man, he made it absolutely fun, just being around those great players, LeJarius Sneed, Amik Robinson. I can go on and on. Just being down there with those guys, man, they made me feel like family. And Monday through Friday, I was in the weight room with Coach Hester, Kurt Hester, man, and he got it out of me each and every day, and just kept pushing me. And I can honestly say, that was a good time and a good moment.
Oh, when I talked to Skip Holtz about you, and you read different articles, and when Skip is asked, describe you, he said leadership and work ethic. Your work ethic, according to him, and your leadership have been outstanding. Is that something special to you, to be told about that, about the head coach?
Oh, yes, sir. I told him when I come in, I want to make an impact on and off the field. And to this day, that's still my goal. I feel like I can never be as good as I want to be. I always try to find things that I can work on. And this year, I feel like as a team, we all had the same mindset this year. We're not as good as we want to be. We're just going to continue to chop that wood each and every day.
Oh, when you read these publications, and you got to read a lot of those with a little grain of salt, they say that Louisiana Tech, they need a big playmaker at wide receiver. They need a difference maker at wide receiver. And you probably hear that. Does that kind of irritate you a little bit?
Oh, not at all. Like I said, that's things like that fuel me. That makes me work harder and go harder. That's where the work ethic come in. Just work on my game and just be prepared for this season. And just listen to it and let it motivate me.
Well, last season was not one of the most productive seasons as far as Louisiana Tech goes offensively. This year they've added a couple of transfers, especially at running back, and you're going to be a little more balanced. How excited is everybody because of the transfers and this whole new inspiration you've gotten on offense to get this thing going?
Very excited. I think we added a lot of great key pieces, man, and it's just going to make the offense fire. Last year, yeah, it wasn't a good year. We had a lot of our backs was against the wall because of a lot of reasons, and we can't use that as an excuse. So this year, we added a couple pieces. I feel like they're going to be good pieces, and we're going to use those pieces.
Has it been talked about among the players that last year against FBS opponents you averaged just a shade over 22 points a game? Have you guys gotten together and said, wait a minute, that's not Louisiana Tech football. We can be better than that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Coach Hester actually has TVs in the weight room, and he plays all the moments from the past season, So, like I said, we've been in there working out, man. We've been getting it in, and I'm excited for this season, I like the energy. I like the way we've been working, man, and I feel like it's going to show.
Well, this is a team that has a great deal of potential, and for you, it's your senior year. Is it bittersweet for you, or considering what you went through last season and even going through the transfer years at TCU, that this is the year that you need to make something special happen?
Yes, sir. Honestly, I just been putting my head down and I've been working. I haven't been worrying about anything but my game and just being around my teammates, and pushing them and they push me. So, like I said, it's just I've been working hard and hopefully it's going to show.
Well, Isaiah, we enjoy watching you play. We wish you nothing but the best of luck this season, my friend.
You too. Appreciate y'all.
Louisiana Tech revamped their defense last season. This year, they have a lot of starters back, led by Trey Baldwin, the senior out of Orange, Texas. Last year, he was second team Conference USA, and number 3, Trey Baldwin, taking some time to join us now. Trey, good to have you with us today on Conference USA Kickoff, presented by Ryan.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Well, let's talk about this defense. And I mentioned that it had to be revamped a little bit in 2020. All but 2 games, you gave up 30 points. Is there a bigger hunger for this defense this season? Because last year, the defense wasn't what Louisiana Tech usually is.
Yes, sir. I would say the hunger is definitely amped up. We focused on building chemistry this year and kind of all stand on the same page as far as knowing what the guy next to you is doing.
When I read articles about you and I watch you on tape, 2 words come to mind: ball hawker. It seems like wherever the ball is, you're there. Do you like when somebody like me calls you that?
Yes, sir. I try to learn as much as possible and become a better student of the game at all aspects. So as far as film, knowing what everyone around me is doing and trying to slow the game down.
We mentioned that the defense was rebuilt last season, but are players a little more comfortable in the system now than they were last year?
Yes, sir. With us not having spring the year before this year, it was kind of a cram session with fall camp and being in and out due to people having to quarantine and lock the facility down. But this year we've got every phase. We've got to go through every phase, and everyone's comfortable and confident going into this year.
One of the things I like looking is if a player has solo tackles. Last year you were number 1 in the conference in solo tackles. You were 11th in the FBS in solo tackles with just under 6 a ball game. Is that a stat that you like reading, knowing that when it's just one-on-one situation with you and a running back or a wide receiver, you're able to bring that guy down?
Yes, sir. I look at every play as if you have a one-on-one battle as far as defeating a block, making a tackle in space, deflecting a pass. So I just look at it as if you have multiple one-on-one battles, but every time you get one, like one play at a time. You have to make those. You have to win those reps.
One final question. You have 8 siblings. What was it like growing up with 8 siblings? Did you have to fight for food? I mean, were Thanksgiving dinners fun? And when you went outside to play hoops or football after a meal, were those fun?
I would say it was more good for me because they didn't like to eat as much as me. So when they didn't finish, that my mom would tell them, say, put it on the cabinet. Trey will eat it later. So it was just more for me.
That's a good way to look at it. Well, Trey, thank you for spending some time with us. We wish you the best of luck this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, coming up on the other side of the break, we'll take a look at the defending champion UAB Blazers with head coach Bill Clark.